Random House Audio presents The Amen Solution, The Brain Healthy Way to Lose Weight and Keep It Off, by Daniel G. Amen, M.D. Read for you by Marc Cashman. Introduction. In my book, Change Your Brain, Change Your Body, I wrote about how you can use your brain to improve the health of your heart, skin, energy, focus, memory, sexual function, and weight. In it, I revealed that based on our brain imaging work at the Amen clinics with tens of thousands of patients from 80 different countries over the last 20 years, we've discovered two of the major secrets why most diets don't work. And contrary to what you might think, they have nothing to do with your lack of desire to lose weight or your willpower. In fact, for some people, the harder they try to lose weight, the worse it gets. The first secret is that most weight problems occur between your ears. So stapling your stomach may, in fact, be working on the wrong organ. Not to mention that 10 years after gastric banding surgery, the success rate is a disappointing 31%. It is your brain that pushes you away from the table, telling you that you've had enough. And it is your brain that gives you permission to have that second bowl of ice cream, making you look and feel like a blob. If you want a better body, the first place to always start is by having a better brain. The second secret, based on our brain imaging work, is that there is not just one brain pattern associated with being overweight. There are at least 5 different patterns. Giving everyone the same diet plan will make some people better and a lot of people worse. Knowing about your own specific brain will make losing weight and keeping it off a whole lot easier. The response to these revelations has been amazing, and the book vaulted onto the New York Times bestseller list and stayed there for months. I knew people would respond to the message that their brain and weight are intricately connected and that if you boost your brain, you can have a better body. What I wasn't prepared for, though, was the deluge of desperate requests from readers asking for more specific help on how to use their brains to lose their bellies. Ever since Change Your Brain, Change Your Body hit cyberspace and store shelves, people have been calling and emailing our clinics, posting comments on my blog, and talking to me at book signings, speaking engagements, and other events. What the overwhelming majority of them were begging for was a simple, step-by-step, brain-based program for weight loss. The Amen Solution, the brain-healthy way to lose weight and keep it off, is that program. I like to call it weight loss for thoughtful people. This is definitely not weight loss for dummies. As you know, there are a lot of dumb ways to try to lose weight. You may have even tried some of them. You know the kinds of methods I'm talking about. The cookie diet, mustard diet, eat anything you want for an hour a day diet, cabbage soup diet, part-time diet, 1 day on, 1 day off, grapefruit diet, baby food diet, liquid diet, juice detox diet, coconut oil diet, ice cube diet, ice cream diet, grape diet, eat only one kind of food per meal diet, caveman diet, red wine diet, pizza diet, 1-day diet, 3-day diet, 7-day diet, peanut butter diet, and even the tapeworm diet. Yes, some people are actually willing to swallow a tapeworm to try to lose weight. These types of gimmicky diets promise fast results. Lose 10 pounds in 7 days, but are more likely to set you up for failure in the long run. My favorite story about dumb ways to lose weight came from one of my public television appearances. When I got to one of the stations for a live on-air appearance, a colleague I will call Jim, with whom I had worked before, looked thinner. I asked Jim what he was doing. He told me he was on the HCG diet. Human chorionic gonadotropin is a pregnancy hormone that, in conjunction with a 500-calorie-a-day diet, yikes! has been reported to help people with rapid weight loss. The placebo-controlled studies with HCG have been less than impressive. Nonetheless, my friend did very well on the diet, losing 20 pounds. It is a diet you can only do for 26 days at a time, because people seem to become immune to its effects. On the last day of the diet, as a way to celebrate his weight loss, Jim told me he called his favorite deep dish pizza restaurant in Chicago and ordered 2 large deep dish pizzas that he planned to gorge on over the weekend. When he told me this story, I looked at him like he was the dumbest person on the planet. "You're kidding me, right?" I asked as I looked into his eyes. "No. Why?" he replied defensively. "You were acting like an alcoholic who just got out of rehab, and as a way to celebrate, you were going to get drunk." Not exactly a sign of intelligent life. When I saw him several months later, he had put back on all the weight he had lost. The Amen solution for anxiety and depression also helps your weight. The seeds for this book came from 2 projects at the Amen clinics. First, a few years ago, I wrote a 12-week home study course for conquering anxiety and depression, using principles I had been teaching for years at the Amen clinics. There is good scientific evidence that many people can improve their mood and decrease their level of anxiety by implementing specific strategies at home. When I was on the follow-up calls with our 90 participants, the majority of people told me they felt less anxious and less depressed, which I had expected. But what I didn't expect was that some people told me that they had also lost 10, 20, and even 30 pounds in the 12 weeks, and found that their memory and focus were better as well. In listening to those calls, I had an aha moment and realized that with a better brain, you also get a better body and a better mind. Science backs up this discovery. Research presented at the annual meeting of the Society of Ingestive Behavior in 2009 found that depressed patients who followed a 6-month behavioral weight loss program not only lost weight, but also reported a significant drop in their symptoms of depression. Lose weight, get happier. Amen Clinic NFL Brain Imaging Rehabilitation Program helps players lose weight and get smarter. The second project that's helped seed this book is my work in performing the world's largest brain imaging brain rehabilitation study on active and retired professional football players. We have evaluated and treated more than 100 players. For many years, the NFL has said that it didn't know if playing professional football caused long-term brain damage. After a number of players came to see me with dementia, depression, and obesity, I decided to study their brains and answer once and for all the question, does playing football damage the brain? The answer, which did not surprise anyone except perhaps some in the NFL, was, of course, playing professional football causes long-term brain damage. You cannot get hit by guys like Minnesota Viking Ron Yary, 6'5" and 255 pounds, 30 to 50 times a game, and not expect to have some trouble. But the exciting news is that when we put our players on our Brain Healthy program, many of them not only lost weight, one of our players lost over 100 pounds, they also got smarter and happier at the same time. Plus, their cognitive scores improved, sometimes by 200, 300, or even 400%. Here is an example. Big Ed White, age 62, a 4-time Pro Bowl offensive guard for the Minnesota Vikings and later for the San Diego Chargers, played 17 seasons in the National Football League. When I first met Ed, he weighed 365 pounds and scored very poorly on his cognitive testing profile. All of our players take a test called the microcog, which measures intellectual functioning in 9 different areas, including overall general cognitive functioning, information processing speed, attention, reasoning, and memory. He scored very poorly. After 6 months on our Brain Healthy weight loss program, he had lost 40 pounds, and his
Sample complete. Ready to continue?